Yes, you are seeing that title correctly. I was robbed out of an iMac, a free iMac I was supposed to get. Now, this video is going to be explaining the entire backstory of why that didn't work out, and also so-and-so things of how I ended up getting another iMac, I guess. In the end, I hope it's you and me. I've always been a big fan of the aluminum iMacs, like this one right here. And yes, I know you guys are going to ask about this one, and I will get to that one shortly. I've always been a fan of the aluminum iMac since I was a kid, specifically the 2012 to 2019 iterations of the iMac, the silver backing and this. But this is a 2007 iMac. But I want to go and give some context of the whole thing of me getting robbed out of a free iMac I was gonna get. We have a set of neighbors who were moving out of the house about a month ago. Now, I won't say specifically who or where, but they were just moving out. They were getting rid of a lot of things, like they were getting rid of like a lot of things. Not just selling, but getting, like, not even recycling, but throwing away a lot of electronics. Now, one of the things they were going to be throwing away was an old iMac from 2008. It was exactly like this one. It's not the same one. It actually came out a year newer, so it was like a mid-2008 model iMac. Now, funnily enough, I actually had to use that iMac like a couple of years ago to restore a third-gen iPod, because this is a iPod that requires FireWire. So it is an iMac like this would be perfect because it has the FireWire cable in it, and it had iTunes installed. I had asked them if I could have their iMac, since that was going to be one of the things they were going to throw away. Not even recycle. They were going to throw it away and just completely destroy the thing. Now, they told me yes, as long as I could get the computer wiped and everything. So I took the iMac home. I took a few pictures of it. It was in decent shape. It was actually, the screen was totally fine. It wasn't even that scratched up or anything. So it was perfectly fine. It actually did work. It was running El Capitan, I think. I didn't even look at the software side or anything. It still had stuff from the previous owner and that stuff. Now, I had made it very clear to give it me a couple of days to help and get the computer wiped out and everything, remove the iCloud and all that stuff, which I successfully did, and try to figure out how to wipe the computer. They told me that if I couldn't get wiped in the same day, they would just take it back, just so they had certain concerns that I'm not gonna go more into. So they took it back. I couldn't get like any of the stuff of wiping the computer, which unfortunately wasn't just a simple restore computer or something like that. Like, even though the iCloud lock was off, I couldn't even get any of the other stuff gone. Like, I couldn't get the hard drive wiped or any of that, which I had future plans to take the hard drive out and replace it with an SSD. 2 days later, I end up going out to get a wired keyboard, just a cheap one, just a Logitech keyboard, just something cheap that I know I could just go and use and then probably throw it away once I'm done. To find out that the computer ended up getting severe amount of damage. That in itself basically, I would say, makes it, I wouldn't say unusable, because you could get the parts for it and replace the screen and that stuff, but basically trashed. And not even recycled trash, but just going into the dumpster trash. Yes, anyone's probably going to question the logic of that. I was questioning the logic as well, and it actually pissed me off a lot, because this whole thing of getting a free iMac and then not having the iMac, it's pissed me off. So I did the one thing which I resorted to, which I hadn't even used before this point. eBay. I made a new account for eBay and everything, got that sorted out, and was having problems for a week straight with payment processing. And it turns out that if you try to buy with a gift card, that does not work out as a first purchase method, technically by support, even though Google says you could use that. So I tried doing the one thing that is just so I could absolutely buy something by a debit card, which was literally buy a $1 pencil. Next day, the account's dead. Permanently suspended. Now, I thought I had a dead end, and then I had an account that was like a backup account that I'd had for at least a good 4 years, which happily I ended up using that to buy a 2007 iMac, exact same specs like the 20-inch iMac, 250 gigabyte hard drive, so-and-so things. It gets delivered a week later. I actually got this video of unboxing the computer when I first got it. Alright, so this is a 2007 iMac that I bought from eBay. So, yeah, let's get into it. Let me tear off the side where it slowly reveals. We got a power adapter, so that's good. Which is the actual computer in itself. Now, true fact, I've always wanted one of these. And unfortunately, due to the tripod, is making a shadow effect. This was so minimalistic design. Like, I never really grew up on what would be the iMac G3 or the iMac G4. It was like, this iteration of iMac is like of what I grew up with, even though I didn't have one. Oh, I can see the shelf, which is good. Very, very good. I'm gonna need a mouse in this. Just a mouse. All my Apple appropriate stuff later. Keep it secure from getting destroyed. I'm trying to be as gentle as I possibly can with this guy, because, oh, that hinge is loose. Maybe it's just me. This is one heavy computer, that's for sure. Oh my god. You can barely see the computer, but this is the iteration of iMac I bought. This is a 2007. I've said that multiple times. I was right, but let's get it powered on. It didn't come with the original adapter, which is close enough, I guess, but kind of kills the vibe for the computer, I guess, because it's supposed to come with a circle one, but it didn't come with its original adapter. I wish it had its original adapter, but oh man, I can take that off. Alright, let's see if it powers on. It boots. You can see that, but I don't know what it's gonna load up with. It should be an older OS though, but I'm not so sure on that. Oh, we get into, oh! Uh-oh, I just got very happy. Of course, I don't have a mouse anywhere to use, but it is running an older style of Mac OS. Let me turn on the actual exposure so you can actually see it. You can see from the icons that it is an older style of OS. At this point, this iMac became a bit of a standing ground for what would be a bit of a decoration, because it technically still had its 250 gigabyte hard drive from like 19 years ago, like from January 2008, which actually is when it was manufactured. Unfortunately, as much as I didn't get that free iMac, I was able to get this iMac for $75 from eBay, and as you'll find out, it actually does function. And this is running El Capitan on an SSD of 250 gigabytes, while also probably running 2 gigabytes of RAM. I know that because it is actually still running its 2 gigabyte. 2 gigahertz Intel Core 2 Duo, 2 gigabytes of RAM, the basic graphics, and then also a SATA SSD. I've also resorted this machine to also be my main iTunes manager, so it is running iTunes with all of my iTunes music on here. I do have a few movies installed on here, including Project Hail Mary that I just have like on here. So it just runs that perfectly. I would love to play more of this film, but I can't really do any of that because of copyright reasons. As an iTunes machine though, I love the fact of having this with an SSD in it and so much more that I'm gonna stop playing this before it hits me with a strike. As much as that I didn't get the original iMac, which was a 2008 iMac and so thing, I ended up getting this one for $75 from eBay, swapping it out with an SSD and everything, and I'm still not happy about the first iMac going to waste, because at least if it was a case where I was able to still take the iMac anyway, I would have been able to replace the screen and all that, but it would have costed more to replace the screen and everything than just having the entire computer as it is. So I mean, it sucks that it didn't even go into recycling. It went into the whole process of restored and everything, and then it didn't even get the chance to have its second life. So, but I will say I do love this iMac. Like, it is, it's actually, I just did a thing of taking its like hard drive and swapping it out with the SSD, cleaning it out, putting the new OS on there, which was El Capitan, the latest that it can run. And now this is basically going to be my iTunes machine, and it's actually great for it too. It'll also be a great restore machine for the older iPods that I have, like this 3rd gen, which hopefully it'll focus. You can see its old design, and this only can take FireWire through the charger and involves FireWire for restoring and all that stuff. Yeah, that's my little story of the two iMacs, including the one that I was robbed out of. So I want to make this little thing to basically give that little story on it. But I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. You're going to see another thing on the iMac. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later when I talk about Windows Phone. Because I got a Windows Phone right here. You see that? Windows logo, and it's a Nokia. This actually has a dead battery, so I can't talk about it quite yet. So, yeah. Bye.